Hello, it's Zeke again. As you can see, I'm back in the path of trials. And in fact, this is this is my third time down here. This far in the dungeon, I mean. So, you may be wondering why I would put myself through this again, and it's for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'm starting to feel like this is the true way to play Izuna, that this is how you really should play the whole game. It's nothing else is quite as good a challenge as this path of trials. But also, there were a few things I didn't show last time that I'd like to go back and show some more. One thing that you'll notice here is that my level is 59 as opposed to the 87 I had last time. Yes, I am actually insane enough to try this on to try seeing what the lowest level I can beat this dungeon at is. And I have a strategy for that, which I will discuss in some detail in the guide that I'm planning to write for the Path of Trials, because it's really not quite as hard a challenge as it's made out to be. It's pretty hard though. So anyway, what I want to demonstrate first of all is the fact that in the Path of Trials, on the last 20 levels, you actually fight sort of false versions of the god bosses from earlier in the game. If you look at the right of my lower screen here, you'll notice I've got a guy coming towards me who looks like Shuuchi. That's his name, by the way, not Shuichi, which I mispronounced last time. Anyway, this Shuuchi character here is purple. He's not quite the right color. And when he attacks... Oh. I may kill him before his name appears. That would be unfortunate. But, there we go. See, it says Master Swordsman attacks. So this is not Shuuchi himself. This is a false copy of him, and there are many of these in the Path of Trials. There tends to be at most one per level, although I have seen two. And they're treated just like normal enemies in that they can pop out of demon traps, and I've even seen a sprite artisan make one when he's doing his I'll show you the artisan spirit routine. Okay, so that was Shuuchi. I'll pause and see if I can dig up another god on a later level. Okay, next up is Fuuka. It's a long U, but not that long, I suppose. I'm gonna chuck a couple of bombs at her first. And as you can see, or possibly see, I don't know if you can read, the screen, I mean, I'm using my DSi XL this time in case it shows up better. And as you can see, I'm also using two hands because I found a better camera setup. Anyway, to return to the topic, she's labeled Carefree Lady. So, these characters, these false gods, just seem to have descriptions of their personalities. But, if I get to show you the others, you'll notice something else about them, so we'll see if I can find them. So, guess who else turned up on the same floor? Here I've got Suiren, and unfortunately my Musou blade just busted, so I'm going to have to use something weaker. However, that does give me a chance to demonstrate something. This Hoshin blade, which is supposed to do extra damage on gods, you'll notice it doesn't do extra damage on their copies. So whatever these things are, it's not divine. So we're just going to trade blows here. You may have noticed my SP is really low. That's because I made a classic mistake that I seem to make more often than most in these runs, which is forging some talismans without quite having enough likenesses to get myself back to full SP. So with any luck, I'll be able to find some likenesses and get back to full fighting strength. Because it's going to be really embarrassing if I'm killed by a fake Suiren, much less the real one. Oh, jeez. Okay, I think she's the last monster on the level, so I'm just going to do some circling around. You'll notice her special attack doesn't hurt much at all. Oh yeah, that's important. I don't think you've seen that yet. They still have the gods' special attacks. So for instance, Master Swordsman has Shuuchi's EI slash, and so forth, and I was lucky not to get kicked into confusion by Fuuka. Fortunately, Suiren's special attack, whatever it is not is pretty ineffective. Okay, I'll pause again, pick this up when I find another one. Hello. It's been 2 days since that last part of the video. Guess what happened? Yep, I did not find any likenesses, and walking around with 0 SP is very bad for one's health. I believe I died on level 93, which is the deepest I've ever gotten into the dungeon and still died. Very annoying. However, I've now made it back. I didn't do quite as good a job of keeping my level down as before. As you can see, I'm at level 73 now as opposed to 62. But I'm quite deep now. I'm at level 94. And I have just had the interesting experience of having a sprite artisan pull Takushiki out of nowhere. So let me first dispose of him. And there's the man. The description, if you can't read it, says know-it-all. So that's a fairly apt description for the god of consciousness, I think. Special attack isn't too effective. Come on. There we go. Alright. So, that's 4 gods down, 2 more to find. I'll pick this up in a moment. Okay, that's kind of funny. Check out who just came in from the other side of the screen. Yep, another Takushiki. So, I'm going to find out if he's vulnerable to pills. Because the gods are vulnerable to pills when you first fight them, but after the upgrade, when you first beat the game, they gain the ability to resist that, as well as some other things. So, let's see if this is a regular or an upgraded Takushiki. Oh, he's regular. 65,000 HP, so his total must be 13,000. You'll also notice I have a Falcon Spirit on my blade, which helps a lot. Okay, let's see if I can find Kagen or Utsuho. Okay, we're down on level 97, and look who's just made an appearance. It's Utsuho. And as you can see, the game lists him as Frogman. Now this is something I find interesting because if you go to the developer's village, all the gods will tell you which animals they used to be, except for Takushiki, who refuses to say. And Utsuho used to be a frog, or an eel, or something like that. So, at any rate, his name is the only one based on what animal he used to be, although Suiren is, their swimmer thing is a bit of a tip-off. Okay, hopefully I'll run into Kagen on this floor or one of the next 2. Otherwise, we'll see. Okay, I couldn't find Kagen, so here I am in the versus Shino level. Now, I was going to show you the cutscene before this, but the camera fell off the stand, so I'm going to have to work on that system. However, it's sort of a moot point. I mentioned this is my 3rd time down here. My 2nd, I did reach Shino, and one of the reasons that I had been coming back down in the first place was to see how the scene changed the 2nd time through, and what new powers she might have. Well, there was no scene. You just walk up to her and fight. Alright, let's... Shuichi's in this level. Funny how that worked out. Well, anyway, I'll dispose of the enemies, and we'll talk again when Shino's back on screen. Okay, well, Shino has made her appearance. Let's go a few rounds. Now, I've been letting her chase me around a bit, mostly because I wanted to find out if there were any other gods on the level. As you may have noticed from dealing with other enemies, when you turn a corner, they usually get one chance to use their special attack, because they can use it diagonally, whereas you can only attack if the you can attack diagonally, but only if there's no corner involved. However, I've discovered you can do this all day with Shino. She has no special move. She's actually just a physical fighter. And, oddly enough, the same is even true in Izuna too. So, Shino is not much for the super final boss of such a difficult game. Anyway, let's get this over with. Yeah, she's down. You'll notice she fell silently, by the way. Strangely enough, despite all the people in the village who are voice acted, Shino is not. So, for some reason, Shino only gets voice actor in the 2nd game. And that was the cutscene. Believe it or not, yeah. So, revisiting the Path of Trials is basically worthless, and that's why I didn't bother uploading that 2nd video. However, this time I realized it would be worth showing the gods off as well, so that's what I did. By the way, the same is true of the Singularity. If you go back there's no cutscene, which makes sense in that case, because there's no reason for whatever entity was in the Singularity to still be giving you trouble. Whereas with the gods, at least there's a little plot around fighting them again. They want you to test your skills, etc., etc. Okay.